Hi, I'm Evan Graham, author of the Smartwork system. In this video presentation, you're going to see water force and swim by as outlined in Smartwork for Retrievers Volume 1. But first, let's look at the prerequisites. Before water force, your dog should have solid obedience. And he should be force-fetched, including force to pile. And of course, he should be thoroughly collar conditioned. I strongly recommend that the water you force in be at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer. Being a mentor means several things. To a dog trainer, it also means looking out for the dog's safety. The pond you choose to water force in should have a simple shoreline with a steep enough entry so that when the dog gets in the water, he's swimming. Look around before you start. Make sure there are no sharp objects or litter that could harm your dog, and that includes underwater structure like stick-ups.
Back, back, back. Now when he leaves like that, is that a disobeying sit or is that...
That's actually a pretty good question, so why don't I address that while I warm this dog up with a few fun bumpers. What I see in a dog that's been forced a few times and begins to go on his own is a way to read him. And what I'm reading is that the dog's beginning to understand how to turn off the pressure by going, and at the same time seeking that little reward with the bumper in the water. Now with a small white plastic bumper in your pocket and an activated e-collar on your dog, let's go start that first session. We'll start out with Steve in Vegas, and Steve will throw him 3 or 4 freebies. All that is just a hand-tossed bumper out in the middle of the pond, and the dog gets to go with no pressure. Doing this 3 or 4 times relaxes the dogs, loosens them up, gets the act of just going straight out and straight back established, and makes the dog maybe a little bit more receptive to the pressure when we start applying it. When you do, start applying pressure at the lowest levels. Steve has read this dog in such a way that he felt that it was optimal for him to start on a low 2, and we're doing it on continuous, which I often like to do. You can start with nicks if you read that it's appropriate for your dog, but I generally like to do continuous simply because we get a better take from it. We're using a Tritronics Pro 500 set at level 2, as I mentioned, and on continuous. The stimulus is applied all the way to the water, but not in the water. The dog doesn't hit the water with any stimulus on at all. The water represents relief from the pressure. Although, for this dog, a low 2 just seemed virtually imperceptible. And we start working up the scale very gradually, and I know a lot of people like to collar condition at higher increments, but that's not really what we're doing here. This dog already is collar conditioned. What we are doing is conditioning the dog to have an improved view of the water, to see it as relief, to want to be there. You'll see what I mean as we go along. And remember that the bumper is a reward. Time your throw so that the dog sees the splash out ahead of him, like that one. There you go.
You broke that time, so we're just beginning to get there.
Yep. Keep moving up.